you ever lost weight and regained it? Well, there's a good chance if you've stumbled upon this video and you watch my content elsewhere that you do struggle with losing weight and potentially keeping it off. Most people learn how to lose weight and that's it. They don't learn how to do proper maintenance phases, and they most certainly don't learn how to do growing phases with building muscle. In this video, I'm going to go through what some of my clients have suffered with before, and that's yo-yo dieting. Basically losing weight, regaining it, losing weight and regaining it, and just being like a yo-yo up and down. I'm also going to discuss why it happens. I'm going to go through the hidden costs of actually doing that over and over and how it can affect us mentally and physically. I'm going to offer you a solution on how to not actually do that, off practical based evidence that I've seen work for hundreds of people. I'm going to run you through what some of my successful clients do as well. And if you haven't watched my last YouTube video with my client Oren and how he's gone from losing about 10 or 12 kilos, from eating 2,000 calories to 3,200 calories, and now he's actually building more muscle than he ever thought was possible. I will go back and watch that as well. I'm going to give you some of my personal mistakes. Let's discuss yo-yo dieting. Let's just think of a yo-yo going up and down, and that's just like what people do when they go to lose weight. A lot of people that come to me rely on motivation. They tell me they're motivated to start, and that's like starting a fire with a bag of turf. And let's say that's the only amount of turf you have. That bag of turf is going to burn out quite quickly, and then what do we do to keep the fuel and the fire going long after that bag of turf is gone? Do we get motivated? Well, in my opinion, we get results, because that gives us the desire to stay creating and doing that action. However, in my experience, where I see people yo-yo diet is when they do it by themselves, they start too aggressively, pull their calories down really low and train 7 days per week. They can't keep that up long term, and the next thing they go over that cliff and they can't keep it up. Online, you're going to see a lot of arguments between coaches telling you to aggressively diet and lose tons of weight in a short period of time. I'm not so much on the sustainable side, and I'm not too much on the aggressive side. We all work at different rates. I think the speed of progress that we can make is probably dependent on a number of factors. I think we at least need to be seeing enough progress that we can actually keep going. Life may get in the way, whether it's a social weekend, whether it's a stag party, whether it's a hen party, whether it's a couple of missed days of tracking their food, whether it's a stressful day with the kids, a stressful day of work. They're back to square one. A few days have went by without doing the actions that they need to do to get to where they want to go, and then a week has gone past and they say to hell with it and they're back to square one. It leads to weight gain, it leads them to restarting over and over. Just haven't created enough skills and habits and systems to keep doing what they need to do to lose weight long term. Why does this happen? As I've discussed, people pull their calories down too low, they do too much training too quickly, and they run themselves down a cul-de-sac and they have nowhere to go. When we're losing weight, we don't want to just throw all the jigsaw pieces out onto the ground and try to figure it all out at once. I like to try give my clients piece by piece so they can slowly put together and successfully get it done, versus being stressed and overwhelmed and thinking it's so stressful that I actually can't start this jigsaw and do it long enough. But if we just break it down into manageable step-by-step practical actions, we can keep it all in and don't play the long game. If I was to say to you, you're going to save €20 a week for 6 weeks, do you think you'd be rich inside of 6 weeks? Well, probably not if we're using our common sense. The same goes for losing weight. We're not going to undo 2 decades or 3 decades or however many decades of habits in 2 or 3 weeks. But if I was to say the number one thing that people really struggle with and why they can't actually keep off weight is never do a maintenance phase. Now, hear me out. People may think maintenance phases are just for the rest of their life and they just keep off weight. That's actually not how it works. Physiologically, we're designed to actually gain and lose weight pretty much every day and every hour for the rest of your life. Say if somebody successfully loses weight, let's say they have 20 kilos to lose and they've lost it over an 8 to 9 month period. After that diet is done, if somebody just ditches their coach and goes back to square one, there's a high likelihood that they're going to regain all that weight again. I would suggest to somebody, now if somebody has 4 or 5 kilos to lose or 14 or 15 kilos to lose, essentially we just want to reverse diet back out of our diet. Meaning, in simple terms, we want to stabilize our body weight and gradually bring our food back up to maintenance level calories. I actually like clients to gradually bring it back up, because most of the clients that I coach are fearful of regaining weight. And when we bring it straight back up to maintenance level calories, I know that some may struggle with that. Again, if you have 24 or 25 kilos to lose and you've been dieting for the bones of the ears, due to hormonal health and metabolic health, it could actually be advantageous for you to bring it straight back up. Again, I'm not a coach who's black and white thinking. I'm not in one side or the other. I like to put on my thinking cap and treat the person as a human in front of me, and we're going to go with what works best for them. And when it all boils down to it, most coaches are going to hate me saying this, it's actually just trial and error. It's as simple as that. If it works for you, fantastic. But us as coaches, if it's not working, we just try apply another method or mode of doing things. The principles stay the same, the methods can change. Here are some hidden costs that people don't see when it comes to fat loss. When a client comes to me, I think it's my job and duty of care to actually make them aware of, if they don't tackle their goals now, what's the hidden cost that it's having long term. Say for example, if a male or a female comes to me and they've struggled for years in losing weight. Most people are a little bit fearful, and as human beings, I've experienced this a lot. People may want to pack things in quite quickly. What can happen with that is it leads to months of inaction. And as human beings, we generally need a little bit of pain to create urgency to take action. When clients get out of that pain a little bit, they kind of run. They think they have it all solved, and generally, like I've just discussed, as to why people may fall down and lose weight and yo-yo diet, they go back to square one. We've seen this happen with tons of people, losing trust in themselves, having low confidence, genuinely feeling broken, okay, that it's just how life is, this is how it's meant to be for them, lose all self-belief in themselves. What's the solution, Luke? You're giving all this talk about the negatives. What are the positives and how do we solve it? Depends. How long is a piece of string? Like I've already discussed in this video, the rules may slightly change for somebody who has 4 to 5 kilos to lose versus potentially 40 to 50 kilos to lose. Starting off, it's going to be a little bit easier, but the more we lean into something and the more successful we want to be in any area of life, there's probably going to be more of a trade-off, and it's going to require a hell of a lot more work. What I see from most people, a couple of common mistakes that I would see is people don't see it as a process. See it as a destination, not a journey. They don't follow a process long enough to actually lose the amount of body fat that they have to lose. They don't do a reverse dieting phase correctly, and let me be 100% clear here. You're going to mess up your first ever dieting phase. You're going to mess up your first ever maintenance phase. You're going to mess up growing phases. That's how you learn. Probably going to touch on a few nerves here. People are absolute drama queens when it comes to losing body fat. I'm not on about somebody who's struggling with their head mentally. I'm not on about somebody who may be struggling with disordered eating. I've struggled with both of those things in the past as well. So this is not what I'm on about. And in layman's terms, and people dramatise when they can't have their almond croissant and maybe a latte on the weekend, that's the end of the world. Really, it's not. I'd say if our great grandparents heard us talk like that, they'd hit a punch into the head. You know, as humans, we're gone so physically inactive. We overconsume on easy to eat foods that don't offer us a lot of nutrient values. Fat loss actually isn't sustainable. We don't want to be in a deficit for the rest of our life losing body fat. So this should have a start date and an end date. The most successful clients that work for me generally have a start date and an end date. These dates, it's a process, not an outcome. We learn to react logically and not emotionally. So when we're taking action and our behavior, it comes off logic, not emotion. Whether it's running, whether it's hurling, whether it's building muscle, whether it's Gaelic football, whether it's rugby, doesn't really matter. There's 8 billion people in this world. We're all going to enjoy different modes of exercise. Successful clients of mine, like Oren, lost 10 to 12 kg in the first few months of this year and successfully has went from a fat loss phase to a maintenance phase to reverse dieting out into a growing phase, gone from eating 2,000 calories to 3,200 calories, and now is building more muscle than ever. Client Sandra, who lost 15 kg, successfully was able to go on 2 foreign holidays and maintain her weight. Now in a muscle building phase, she dropped her calories all the way down to 1,400. We're back up towards 2,400 now. We're going to build some muscle in her lower body, strong on the upper body movements, drive on her performance over the next 6 to 12 months to change our physique for good. These are clients that I work with long term. They understand that they're not going to get the results that they want in 2 to 3 weeks. There are also clients like myself who have struggled with yo-yo dieting in the past and they wanted to do things differently. I started training when I was about 15 to 16. I used to go up to my local leisure centre. I used to download training programs off bodybuilding.com. All of the OGs will remember that. There wasn't as much information readily available. I used to watch Ronnie Coleman videos and Jay Cutler following Mr. Olympias, and I was a 5'7" fella weighing about 60 kilos. I hadn't any chance. Massively appreciate if you hit like on this video, drop a comment and give me a subscribe. In the description below, if you click the link below, I've got a 4-week free coaching program that is accessible for everyone. It is foolproof, easy to follow. It will most certainly work for you.